Okay.
Yes, sir.
I should go back like 3 slides, right?
Just one slide is okay, sir.
Just one slide. Okay. All right. So for those who I lost, what we did in the past 3 minutes was that we spoke about the Nigerian leadership in action, and we used the example of Access Bank. And we said they were able to access the green bond because they did the right thing. They have annual sustainability report that is aligned to green report initiatives standard. They were able to get their green bonds listed on the London Stock Exchange. And they were able to do that because they follow all the rules that is required of them. Now, I now move on to ICAN's member sustainability playbook. And I said the first thing you need to do is to be able to assess and understand the footprint of your client. The first one is identify the emission across both the scope 1 to 3. Map all nature-related dependencies. Audit their social impact, whether positive or negative. Begin with a structured client conversation and a basic data inventory. You don't need any special software. And I gave the example of if you have a client who is using diesel generator to generate power for themselves, well, you need to kind of find out how much liter of diesel are they using per month, per quarter, per year. The moment you know the number of liter they use, you can calculate how much carbon dioxide is being generated by that particular scope 1 operation. So, and I move on to you disclosing that. That is, you report what you find. Use the Security and Exchange Commission guideline, or you can also use the GRI's guideline or ISSB guideline. Okay. The whole idea here is to adopt a disclosure language that global supply chains and lenders already expect. That's why you are following those guidelines. That global supply chains and lenders already expect. That's why you are following those guidelines. That global supply chains and lenders. Okay. I'm getting a feedback. Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Prof.
Okay, thank you. I was getting the feedback before. Okay, that's fine. So, the reason why you are following all those standards is you want to be able to adopt the language that is expected. You need to start simple. The goal is for you to be credible. You don't have to be perfect. Then you move to the assurance stage. Make the numbers credible. Apply ISAE 3000 and Emerging Sustainability Assurance Standard. These are third-party assurance by an ICAN member is what separates a credible report from a greenwashing. What we mean by greenwashing is people, as we say in Nigeria, that talk is cheap. People can say, oh, we are very environmental sustainable, we do this, we do that. But is it being certified? Does an ICAN member certify that, yes, what you are saying is credible? Because the international community, if they're going to use your report, they're going to be required to be certified by a qualified accountant. And that qualified accountant need to know how to do that certification. And it's not that difficult. You just need to train yourself in that area and be able to apply. Even when you think, oh, the companies we are dealing with are too small. Well, they could be small now, but they're going to grow. And they're going to have the ambition of supply to the international market. And if they're going to supply to the international market, they're probably going to have to deal with large corporations in that international market. And those large corporations are getting their funding. The investors that are funding them require them to be environmentally sustainable, right? They need to be green. And for them to be green, if you want to be their supplier, you have to be green. And for them to take you seriously that you are being green, you need to be certified. Somebody need to assess, somebody need to disclose, somebody need to assure. And who can do that? Certified accountant, chartered accountant. And in Nigeria, that is ICAN member. 70,000 plus of them. So my point here is it's important for us to know that we have a new sustainability playbook. So, learning roadmap. How do we learn? How to do it? We all know it's important. We all know it's coming. We all know it's required. Some people might say, oh, it's a foreign idea, all these tree huggers. Yes, it may be foreign idea before, but it's the entire world's idea now, and it's Nigeria's idea. All those regulations I quoted to you, the SEC, the FRN, all of those, they are all Nigerian. The CBN, they are all Nigerian standard. Anyway. So the first thing, look at the universal standard. It's free. You can download that from the globalreporting.org. Okay. Look at the International Federation of Accountants guidance. They also have their guidance. Look at that. You can get that at their website. Look at the ICAN CPD too. They have sustainability essential modules. Register for that today. Start getting yourself ready. You are ICAN member. All what you need now is to know how to do sustainability reporting. Okay. Now, that's foundation. What about practitioner? Study the full standard, the ISSB and IFRS Schedule 1 and Schedule 2. Study that. Okay. Look at your task force on climate-related financial disclosure. Look at their recommendation. Check that. All of these are things you can get online. You can also look at your ISAE 3000, which is on assurance on non-financial information. That is the international standard on assurance engagement. Okay. So look at that too as a practitioner. Be conversant with those. It's not going to happen the first day, but know that you need to be, to be really qualified in that area, you need to kind of check all of that. And what about when you become specialist? Then you can have certification in ESG investing. Okay. Okay, you can also look at the task force on nature-related financial disclosure. Okay. Carbon credit verification and voluntary carbon market standard. Those are all the things that you can do that can make you a specialist in that area. Okay. What are the kind of objections that clients usually have when you are doing this? Not only in Nigeria, it happens everywhere. Even here in Canada, people who object, they say, oh, we don't care about that. Those are liberal concepts, this and that. The first thing they will say is, okay, we're a small business. ESG is for multinationals. Okay? And your answer should be, well, your supply chain partner in Europe and America, and probably even in Asia or in Middle East, they require a sustainability questionnaire from you within 2 years. They're going to be requiring that. Are you ready? Well, this is about you staying in the market. If you have the, the intention of supplying your product to the international market. International market are going to be requiring within the next 2 years that you fill a sustainability questionnaire to let them know whether you are truly green certified or not. Another objection that can be, we have no budget for sustainability reporting. Okay. Your answer should be, have you stress tested your business against flood damage? Where are you located? What about water scarcity? What about energy price shock? The cost of non-reporting is a loan application that's going to be denied if you ever need a green loan in the international market. It could even be a lost contract. It could be an insurer that is not going to insure or cover you. I know some of this may sound strange in Nigerian context, but I don't think they are that strange either. Because Nigerian businesses do international business. There is no local business anymore anyway. So, somebody might say, oh, this is a Western agenda. It's been imposed on us in Africa. Well, the Securities and Exchange Commission in Nigeria is Nigerian, right? That's not Western. It's not any other person. The Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria is Nigerian. The federal government of Nigeria is the government of Nigeria. They already moved on this. They already said by 2060, it's going to be net zero. Your institutional investors, your pension fund, your international banking partners, they're already applying ESG to screen. So what if you need them? Is it when you need it that you're going to start reporting on them? They are not that stupid. They want to see your report over the past 5 years. Okay, another objection. We already do, CSR. Is that not the same thing? Well, CSR, sorry. Oops. Where did I go? Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm here now. CSR is a donation. Sustainability reporting is a management system. Your ESG disclosure shows how your business model creates and destroy value. So don't say, oh, it's the same thing with CSR. It's not the same thing with CSR. Okay, why Nigeria must lead and not follow? Why should we lead the opportunity in Africa? With the continent's largest formal professional accounting body, 70,000 plus, we in ICAN have the scale and the credibility to set sustainability reporting standard for the entire sub-Saharan Africa. Another thing is, if we move first and we sensitize our members on this area, we will have the first mover advantage. The Nigeria ICAN members will build sustainability assurance capability today. They are the one that will win from every listed company in Africa in the future, because the other people have to learn it from them, and they will already have the credibility. For every green bond issuer in West Africa, they will want the company that apply for those green bonds to be certified. And if those countries don't have people who can certify their company, well, ICAN members are everywhere in the West African sub-region. You can also look at it from what Africa owns, the natural capital. We have the second largest rainforest in the world. Apart from the Amazon rainforest, the one in Africa is the second largest. And Nigeria has a chunk of that. We have vast wetlands, enormous renewable energy potential. So we must account for all of this. Now, the Global South also needs its own voice. ESG frameworks developed in London and New York do not always reflect our realities in Nigeria and in Africa. Our ICAN members must participate in global standard development, not just adopt what is handed to them. So, 3 commitments before we leave this room. This week, try and have one sustainability conversation with a client or a colleague. Ask them, have you thought about how climate risk affects your business? That opens the door. You do not need to have all the answers yet. All what you need to do is to sensitize your client or your colleague that, look, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? What if you need funding? Should you get all your funding from Nigerian banks? If you're a big enough corporation, can't you go and have your bond listed in London or New York Stock Exchange? You can, you could. And you could actually have cheap funding if you are green certified. And who is going to green certify you? Whoever is able to assess, to disclose, and to assure, which is ICAN members in Nigeria. So, within 30 days, try and enroll in one of the sustainability-related CPD courses that ICAN offers. Okay? Try and enroll yourself in one of those. And within the next quarter, propose one sustainability-related change in your firm or organization. And you might say, okay, how do I propose that? Well, maybe you are using generator now. You can say, let's use solar panel. That could be one thing. Maybe right now you are using diesel. Maybe we can convert to gas and start getting green. You are getting green, I always tell people, say, look, when people said they are going green, if you going green is a business, and if you don't think it's a business, then if there is no reward, nobody will do it. So if you go green, usually it helps you, it helps the business, right? In terms of a healthy environment, and it places your business in such a way that you can compete internationally. So I'm kind of concluding now. Africa's sustainability story will not be written in Brussels or New York or Tokyo or here in Toronto. No, it won't. It will be in Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, by professionals like all of us in this discussion today. We understand our land, we understand our communities, we understand our businesses, and we understand our numbers. So the world is waiting for us. Let's get it done. What should you remember from this discussion today? Sustainability is now a regulatory obligation in Nigeria. It's required. Green finance is a major revenue opportunity for ICAN members, okay? Because green bonds, sustainable linked loans, and ESG assurance engagement are becoming large chunk of requirements that needs to be done. The Green Ledger accounts for 6 capitals, not 2. Green Ledger needs to account for all the capitals. Okay, Nigeria and ICAN must lead Africa. We cannot be follower. We need to take the first mover advantage and really build that portfolio. Thank you, everybody, for listening. So I'm going to open up for question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you so much for that eye-opening presentation. We cannot thank you enough. To the audience, we would like to apologize for the break in transmission. While Prof's presentation was ongoing, the link tripped off. We appreciate that you could join us back in no time. Before we go to the audience for the question, I would like to call on our chairman, Elder Patterson Ariemuduigho, to kindly speak to the presentation we have just heard. And of course, Mr. Chairman, if you have questions, this will be the opportunity to make those questions known to Prof. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, please unmute your microphone.
Thank you very much, Prof.
Thank you, sir.
We are very glad for this wonderful presentation that you have just given to us. You have challenged us as members of ICAN that we need to upskill, we need to develop ourselves into going into this new stream of revenue to our firms and to our persons. It's challenging, I must tell you. I'm in practice, and by the grace of God, I can tell you that I've been receiving a lot of requests from international donors asking us to come and conduct ESG assignment for them. And to God be the glory, I'm the one in charge of that department in my office. But I'm not shy to say it, we've not been able to carry out any of this assignment. Many times when we want to do, we go into, okay, well now, by the time we display our CVs, they will say we don't have enough experience and knowledge to do those jobs. And so we want to rate with our African counterpart, Morocco, and before you know, it will be turned out that local content is lacking. And so we have not been able to win any job. But from what you said now, it appears simple. It's not simple in terms of getting these required skills to be able to do this kind of assignments. My takeaway is that I have to go back to the drawing board with my team to see on how we actually develop and get the required knowledge to be able to do these jobs. They fetch good money. And so I don't know whether there's any quicker way you can suggest to us so that as a firm, I can recommend that and then get ourselves killed. So that will just be my comment, sir.
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Temitayo, for giving me this opportunity to ask this question on behalf of myself and my firm. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, that's why if you look at the way I presented this, I try to make it doable because I know there are obstacles. Now, the way I ask you to do it is make it part of your practice. Every company that you are doing assessment, disclosing, or assurance engagement for, create one page in which you are able to assess their environmental impact and disclose it. By the time you have a portfolio of that, even though you might be thinking it's not part of my job, it's not part of what we are doing, it's also part of you learning. It's also part of you developing your team. It's also part of you developing that expertise. The people in Morocco, any of these other North African countries, they didn't just all of a sudden know how to do it and just got the expertise. They start to make it as part of their practice. So by the time you do your regular audit or engagement, assignment, and you get ESG as part of that, you are training your people and you are asking the right question. And again, as I said, start by first of all understanding the foundation and start developing your team and let your team start practicing with your existing client. And initially they might not be taking that much money because it's not part of what they were expecting, but you are giving it as an additional service to them. Later, you can start charging for it. And then the big contract will start rolling in. That's the approach I usually recommend people to do. Because, yes, by the time somebody wants to assess growing bond, and they now say, oh, we need disclosure and assurance, well, by that time, they need people who have experience to do it. And if you don't already have the experience, and you can't demonstrate that you already have the experience through the past job that you've done, your case studies, then you will not win. You will not win that assignment. And your customer too, the person that needs that green bond in Nigeria also will not get that loan. It's just the way the world is working nowadays. Thank you. I don't know if that answered the question. Let me see if I can go to
Yes, thank you very much. My takeaway is that we should start with our existing client.
Correct.
And see for what we can do. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's how you build that's how you build your reputation and your credential.
Thank you so much, Prof. I'd like to call on our Vice Chairman, Dr. Ariemuduigho. Sir, can you speak to this presentation or perhaps ask questions? Dr. Ariemuduigho, are you there? Okay. The Technical Secretary, Mr. Itaya Sulaiman, Mr. Oshutibo, do you have questions before we go to the chat section?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator, Mr. Temitayo. Thank you, Prof, for that insightful delivery. Really appreciate. My question is this, sir. How would young accountants prepare themselves for this emerging field of sustainability reporting? How should young accountants prepare themselves, get themselves ready for this emerging field of sustainability reporting? Thank you.
Thank you. We've all been young at some point, and then we start having more experiences and start learning. The word nowadays is the word of lifelong learning. Not just the young accountants coming in, even the mid-age accountant and the old accountant, all of us needs to learn how to do sustainability reporting. And I've indicated before that the first thing you do, even if you go now online and you search for GRE reporting, you're going to see their standards there. It's free. You can download it. Start understanding what the standard is required. You can go into IFAC website also and look at their sustainability guidance. Okay. I can also have CPD in. Give me 1 sec. I have to call you back. I'm in a meeting. I can also have CPD, so they should enroll for that. Okay. Once they have the foundation, then they can move on to the practitioner level. Okay. Go to the ISSB and IFRS Schedule 1 and Schedule 2. Study that. Know the full standard. Okay. So these are what I'm expecting a young accountant to start with and build their portfolio. Building their portfolio means when they are assigned an engagement, you can include sustainability reporting as part of that. It could be a 1 page. I mean, because again, as a previous speaker said, right, that if you don't have experience, the people that want that assurance, they won't want you to be the one to do it because they don't want you to learn under them. So my suggestion is the learning should be an ongoing. Put it as part of your report to your customer, even if you don't submit it to them sometimes. Because if the customer say, if the client say, oh, I don't want that in my report, that's fine. But it's part of our regular engagement. This is what we do. So that's the way I would say they should go about it. Go through the foundation, read all the standard, know what needs to be done, and practice. Practice with your current client. You are giving them more service. Initially, you may not be charging for it because that's how most of us do it abroad. But later on, you're going to be charging for it. By the time you now know that, okay, you have been recognized. Your firm is recognized as an ESG reporting leader. Then you can charge for it. You don't need, therefore, they don't need to bring people from London. They don't need to bring people from New York. They have people right there in Lagos, right there in Port Harcourt, right there in Abuja, right there in Nevada that can do it. But they need the experience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Dr. Odebumi, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Thank you, Prof, for the insightful presentation. And you've opened our eyes to see that accountants have multiple sources of income, which we are yet to tap into. My questions goes thus. Sustainability reporting appears to be relevant to majorly large multinational companies. Why should SMEs or small local businesses in Nigeria be concerned? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. That's one of the most asked questions that even your own client will be asking you. Oh, why do we need to do this? This is not important. Oh, this is not our concern now. Oh, we are trying to do this. We're trying to clear our good from the pot. We are trying to look for diesel. We are trying to, yes. But as they are trying to do that, they are doing it towards what goal? Towards value creation. And how do we measure the value that is being created based on how much money is made? Okay, that's fine. So for you to make that money, to sell your product, if you as a small business want to sell to large businesses, those large businesses are required to, because their funding might include green bonds or might include investors that only want their money to be invested in environmentally sustainable corporations. So if you now want to sell your product to those companies, maybe you are not selling to them now, but maybe in the future, well, they're going to require you to have, a certifiable environmental reports. So that's important. And also, environmental issue is all of our issues. If you say you are a small business and you are located in Lekki and Lekki get flooded, you are affected. So all of us are affected, one way or the other. Look at even the issue of that Nigeria is facing today. Sorry to say, the banditry issue. Sometimes it could be linked to, one of the factors, not the main factor. Could be environmental issue too. because the people who are rearing their cattle, they've been rearing their cattle all this while. They come to the south and they go back to the north. No issue. But now there is environmental issue because there is not that much green space in the south too. So there could be clash with farmers and all of those stuff. That affects everybody, whether you are small or you are large. So if you are destroying the forest, we need to know. If you are promoting reforestation, we also need to know. Because by you even reporting that you are helping regrow the trees, you already tick some boxes for some investors in the rest of the world. And it could be as simple as that. It could be as simple as saying, you know what, we grow 10,000 trees per year. It could be as simple as that. Where are they? This is where they are. And it can be monitored. And there is actually carbon credit that can be traded. But if you don't have the report, if the report is not disclosed, and if it's not certified by a qualified accountant, nobody's going to believe you. Because the only people that can prepare that report that will be acceptable have to be qualified accountants. So my point is, whether you are small or large, we are all affected. Small, medium enterprises always say, oh, we don't care about that, we are too small. You are small today, but you want to grow. And some of them are going to grow. Anyway, thank you.
Doing justice to those questions, we sincerely appreciate you. We have some questions from the chat section. Before we go to that, I'm not sure if Mr. Oshotubo has any questions to raise before we go to the house. Mr. Oshotubo, please. Okay, Prof, there's a question from the chat section. It says from Nkem Iwebu, does sustainability accounting affect public sector finance and accounting?
Public sector finance and accounting, yes, they should have that too. Right now, the focus of this one is on it's basically on private corporations, the focus of this, my discussion today. But yes, I mean, there are account corporations, right? NMPC is they could say they are private, but I don't think they're, there might be NMPC people in this audience, so I don't know what they do. So my point is, yes, of course, it does. Whatever you currently report for, if you report for government and corporations, yeah, there should be a section of that your report that should be focused on the ESG, sustainability reporting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. There's a question on the screen. It says, I'm working on a study titled Value Relevance of Sustainability Performance, Empirical Evidence from Firms Listed on NGX. Please, is there a link to source sustainability data?
The NGX, honestly, I haven't done much work with the NGX because the sustainability reporting in that area may not be as developed as expected. But what I would say you should do is come up with your list of list of companies that you think you're going to be able to do in your data set and look through their annual reports. If they have a section in the annual report that disclose their sustainability impact, then that's how you're going to now narrow them down to those ones. So it's a data mining set that you may have to do.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. Somebody was asking if there was a framework for sustainability for ESG, just like we have for internal control over financial reporting. That's talking about the COSO and the COCO framework, sir.
There are multiple framework in this case, but that's why I said you start by first of all understanding the universal standard. What are the standards that is required? We also have it under IFRS Schedule 1 and Schedule 2, right? So those are the framework. There are recommendations for governance strategy, risk metrics, all of those are there. You also have it under the ISAE 3000. So it's there, yes. COSO and the rest of that is not exactly like that, but it has its own standard that you need to follow. And that's why I say start with foundation, go to the practitioner, and you can just build yourself through that. And also, even I can have their CPD in that area. So I haven't gone through their CPD, so I'm not sure what is in it, but I know I can has one. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Yes, I can confirm also that ICAN has a sustainability faculty. So for those who have been asking if there's a step-by-step reporting on ESG assignments, we need to go an extra mile. We need to get the relevant skills and knowledge in order to equip ourselves and tap into the opportunities available in this field. I'm trying to check the chat section if there are more questions before we.
Yes, I think there's a question from somebody.
Yes, sir.
Which says, what benefits accrue to NGOs from ESG reporting? I know you mentioned accessibility of green bond for the for-profit making sector.
Okay, for the advantage for
question.
Benefits for NGOs, sir.
Benefit for NGOs.
Yes.
Okay. Well, actually, the benefit for NGO is huge because NGO need funding, right? And some of this funding can come from abroad. World Bank has funding for them, IMF, IFC. There are also international NGOs that will fund other NGOs in Africa. Huge. And most of, sorry.
Yes, sir. Please go on, sir.
So most of those people, most of those NGOs that are going to fund the local NGO, they are the people who are funding them require them to be environmentally sustainable. So if they think that the NGOs in Africa that they are supporting is actually not environmental friendly, they might not get as much fund as they should have got. So yes, there is advantage for NGOs in having sustainability reporting. And it's actually required when you want to get international funding. They will do impact assessment. And in their impact assessment, they're going to consider your environmental impact. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. There's another question on the screen. It says, is waste recycling, especially PET bottles and polythene bags, related to sustainability activities?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Those are all part of what you have to, when you are doing your assessment. Let me go to that slide. When you are doing your under assess to understand the footprint, those are part of what you have to assess. Do they recycle? If they recycle, are they reporting that? If you are reporting that, well, it becomes something. And as I said, you're not going to be perfect initially, but what is important for you to be credible, right? So yes, recycling is part of you being environmental friendly and being green certifiable. Thank you.
We sincerely appreciate you, Prof. I'm trying to check the chat box. I can't see further questions. I wouldn't know if within this room, Mr. Oshinsubo, Mr. Itayo, our vice chairman, and of course our chairman, if there are any other things you would like to clarify before we close the meeting.
Yes, thank you very much. There's a question on the chat too. I just have this comment that the general perception, especially of the multinationals, the banks, and the big corporations in Nigeria, is that the smaller firms cannot handle ESG for them. So no matter the experience, no matter the CVs you are putting forward, they will throw it away. They believe in that foreign content when reviewing ESG. And so I don't see though, let me not be negative, but from experience, is that the big four than any other firm in Nigeria. And then that is my own comment. There's a question from a member here, I think Ajibola. He says, since an agro-allied sector has already been on the path of green revolution, how can such sector tap from the ESG? Thank you.
Thank you. Let me answer your first original comment about the attitude of Nigerian corporations towards smaller firms, as they prefer to have their certification done by the big four. Yes, that is probably what is happening right now, because they probably believe that most of the smaller firms don't have the expertise, and they think that the big firms, the big accounting firms, the Deloitte and the rest of them, that even if they don't have the expertise, they have international connections to bring those expertise in. That's probably their logic of that. But the moment they start realizing that the smaller firms also actually have that expertise, then I think that will change. We could be, I mean, there are two perceptions to some of these things. We could look at it and say, oh, it's never going to matter, we're never going to need it. But I'm saying right now that it does matter now. And it's going to continue to be matter going forward. So, yes, the perception right now might be that, oh, only the big four can do it. No. And the big four cannot do everybody's job anyway. So if it's only the big four that can do all the job, I mean, they'll be the only accounting firms in Nigeria or anywhere in the world, but they are not. So eventually, it's going to, if you have the expertise, even the big four, we want you to work under them. So anyway, I see that, but do I have a way to kind of make us? I just think the best way is to just develop your expertise and present it and fight for those contracts. By the time by the time they start seeing you, there will be a time when they want to do it, and none of those big four will be available for them, and they will have to take you. So the other question about the agro-allied, can we repeat that question again? Because I think I lost that question regarding the agro-allied industry. What was the question regarding?
It says, since an agro-allied sector has already been on the path of green revolution, how can such sector tap from the ESG?
Okay. If you are in the agro-allied industry, you are actually also required and are expected, to be practicing your agro-allied function in a sustainable manner. I give example of even land clearing. Okay, land clearing. The method of producing your product. It could be done in a much more sustainable way. And again, if you clear trees somewhere, somebody might be expecting you, if you want to have access to international funding, if you're a big agro-allied company, you might have to demonstrate that you're actually not destructive to the environment. And if you actually have, maybe you cut 3 or 4 trees, for instance, as an example, maybe you decided to plant 10. So you are net zero in that case, right? Of course, we know if you cut big trees, the small ones take time to be able to absorb as much carbon dioxide as the big ones. But at the same time, at least you are making efforts and you are reporting that. And that is also being considered. So I don't know if that answered that question, but my point is the fact that you are an agro business and therefore maybe you don't need to be mindful of the environment is actually not true. You need to still be mindful of the environment, and it's expected that you are mindful of the environment. Thank you. And don't forget, our own focus here is on being able to assess that. If somebody say, oh, we need you to come and do environmental assessment for us. Yeah, we have the tools to do it. We as ICAN members have the tools to do it. That's our focus. But the other esoteric aspect of whether the company should do it or they should not do it, yes, we want to sensitize them that it's part of what they need to do.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof.
Thank you.
Also, somebody is asking the difference between CSR and ESG reporting. Somebody is asking to differentiate between ESR and CSG reporting.
Okay. CSR is basically your corporate social responsibility, right? So usually it's your activity within the community, your donations, your support for the community, support for the society, support for schools, support for hospitals, which is important. It's more people focused. The CSR is more people focused. But the ESG we are talking about is more of the environment. How much pollution are you putting into the environment? Is the company putting into the environment? Is there a better way for that company to perform their function? That's why I always give the example of using a diesel generator instead of a different, less polluting generator. It doesn't mean you can't use generator. It just means that is that the best one you can use? And if that is the best, well, try to improve if you can. So the CSR is focused more on the community and the people. Meanwhile, the sustainability is more on the environment, your impact on the environment, your impact on pollution, your impact on your impact on gas flaring, your impact on the impact of your operation, whether it is positive or negative on the environment. If it's positive, yes, you should get credit for that. If it's negative, you should find a way to improve so that you can be able to assess the advantages of you being certifiable brings. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Somebody was asking if there was an ESG rating platform for Nigerian companies.
Not really. Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm still trying to see if we can accommodate maybe one or two questions before we call it a day. If somebody is saying, please, Prof, outside reading the standards, how do we practically start in terms of getting in touch with a professional already reporting for years?
It takes two to tango. Those professionals, getting in touch with them, I'm just thinking of how the best way to do that, because people are going to look at their time. They don't want to make themselves too available for too many people bugging them. So I think the first thing is I know there are some ICAN members already that even ICAN itself has a CPD module on that. They have a faculty in that area. So because I'm not based in Nigeria, I don't know if they have a database of people who are practicing that in Nigeria. So I think the best thing is through your network. Through your network, you should be able to find somebody who's already practicing in that, and if they are willing to mentor you. I think that's the best way to look at it.
All right, Prof. I think that should be all. Somebody is asking finally, sir.
Okay.
How can business leaders balance short-term profitability with long-term sustainability goals, especially within the Nigerian economy? I repeat, how can business leaders balance short-term profitability with long-term sustainability goals, especially within the Nigerian economy?
Okay, well, that's a good question. It's a typical agency theory question. Okay, if you have the management of the corporation being rewarded based on short-term objective, yes, of course, their focus is going to be on short-term. We know that through standard agency theory. But if you have a way of making sure that their interests and the interests of the shareholders right? If you can find a way to kind of make sure that their interests are aligned, then of course they will be more long-term oriented. And that being long-term oriented, the same approach works in ESG too, because you might say, okay, you know what, we just want to focus on the, on our net profit for this year. We made 10 million last year, or maybe 10 billion last year. We want to make 15 billion this year. So that's our focus. Well, that's short term. That's just this year. Well, if you are able to now say, okay, can we find a way in which you make sure that their interest is not just on this year, but in 5 years? And the way we normally do it in regular finance is that's why we give stock options and stuff like that. And we say that should be vested. The same thing can be done in ESG. It's not being done right now, but it can be done. So it's just find a way to make sure that the interest of the company and the interest of the society are aligned. And how do we do that? Is another topic for another day. But we already know how to align interest in finance and in accounting, because it's our basic agency theory problem. And we know how to handle agency conflict. Thank you.
I was speaking, I didn't know I did not unmute. Thank you so much once again, Prof. It has truly been a wonderful 90 minutes or thereabouts. We cannot thank you enough. At this juncture, I'd like to call on our Vice Chairman, Dr. Ariemuduigho, to, on behalf of every participant this afternoon, and on behalf of the district, to appreciate Prof, number one, for yielding our call, and number two, for doing justice to the presentation this afternoon. The floor is yours, Dr. Ariemuduigho.
Thank you, Mr. Timitayo. Please confirm I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Oh, great. Thank you, Prof, for opening our eyes to what we don't know or what we've heard and we've not been able to dig deep on it. On behalf of our second chairman, the person of Elder Patterson Ariemuduigho, members of the executive committee, and the members of ICAN, Lagelu, and district society at large, the elders of our profession, our fellow members of ICAN that are present on this call, want to express our deepest gratitude to you, Prof, for the justice and eye-opener session we've had this evening. Prof, thank you for taking time out of your incredibly busy schedule to share this wealth of knowledge with us today. The presentation has been a top-notch. It was not only insightful, but is credibly practical-oriented. Thank you very much for breaking down complex concepts into actionable insight. Once again, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ariemuduigho, Prof. Thank you. Prof, just a second before you go. Somebody is asking, and I feel there should be clarity. I also have one doubt to clear before you go, sir. Somebody is mentioning EDGE certification, mainly for real estate or housing sector. That can we say they are on the part of the Green Ledger? EDGE certification, I'm not sure what that is.
For real estate, right?
Yes, real estate.
Yeah, but that's really not the focus of our thing here today. The focus of us here today is to look at how we members of ICAN can actually be performing our usual function, but with sustainability included. So this EDGE certification, there is 1,001 certifications, and we are probably not going to know them all. So I don't know how I mean, we're not trying to, maybe I'm just not getting the question right.
Okay, sorry, they're asking, are they parts of the green ledger? Edge certification mainly for the real estate or asset sector in Nigeria. Can we say they are on the path of the green ledger?
Because they have the edge certification. Okay, I got your point now. Okay, I was misunderstanding that question. Okay, yes, of course, it's part of what you have to report. You can report that, yes. But it doesn't mean that they have it that automatically make them to be certifiable or to be you still have to do your due assessment, disclosure, and assurance. You still have to do that. But part of that is that edge certification, if that's what you're saying. Yes, I got it. Part of what you have to report is, okay, they've met all the standard that is certified by Edge, and they have the Edge certification. And you now check every, when you do your engagement, you now check your normal thing. And if it confirms with what they have, then of course, you have given them credibility. Don't forget again, the goal is to be credible, right? If there is other ways of assuring that, then of course it's acceptable. Thank you.
Once again, Prof, thank you so much. We cannot thank you enough. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to, I've been seeing comments in the chat section about complaints with respect to the attendance link not being clickable. I don't know what happened. Initially, when we've shared it, it was very, very active and clickable, but for some reason, it is no longer. So the link has been made very, very short and memorable. So kindly type that tiny.cc/LDSESG. I repeat, tiny.cc/capital LDSESG, so that you can conclude you can mark your attendance for this session. If there is one thing that we need to pick up after this, Prof, in terms of professional development, what would you recommend for the audience or for the district to take up in terms of a technical session? What would it be, sir?
Oh, for your next technical session?
Perhaps following this conversation, what would be the recommended professional development path, either on individual capacity or something that can be done at a corporate level?
Oh, okay. I think I made mention of that in my presentation. Let me check if I didn't include it. I think I did. When I said where is it? Where is that? Not that. Yeah, when I said what you need to do, right? Start today. Start today. Look at GRI Universal Standard, right? Download that and try to start reading that. Look at your IFAC sustainability guidance. Okay, that will be the foundational stuff. If you've never been exposed to it before, if you're already exposed to it, yes, of course. And also say yes. Please register for the ICAN CPD or sustainability essential module. Register for that. If you are not already familiar with it, get yourself familiarized with that, and that's where you can start. In terms of your next technical session, where can it be? I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure your plans, the ICAN Lagelu or district plan, but from the one that I've seen that was sent to me before, you guys have covered, I don't know what you've covered. You've covered, I don't know, to be honest with you. But in terms of the active area in accounting and finance nowadays, sustainability is one of them. And another area that you can look into, I don't even know which area I can recommend.
Okay, Prof. You. Okay. We'll take up the conversation away from here. We'll pick it up from there.
I'm not sure right now. Give me.
So much.
I will recommend something in the next few days that I think maybe. Let me just give it some more thoughts, so I don't just throw out things out there.
All right, Prof.
Okay.
Prof, once again, thank you. If I'm not mistaken, you'll be in church by now, or you'll be out there doing some other things, but we have engaged you, and we feel so honored that we called and you answered. Thank you so much.
It is well. Thank you.
Yes, sir. We'd also like to appreciate the entire members of the technical and the membership committee for working assiduously to bring this home. You would agree with me that it has been a wonderful session. We owe it to our participants this afternoon. If we package this program and no one attended, there's nothing we can do. But we want to sincerely thank you, professional colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, for making it a date with Lagelu and District Society. We appreciate you so much. We'll look forward to you joining us again during our next technical session for the month of August 2026. Do not forget, the session today is the second leg in a week-long series that is culminating on the investiture of the second chairman of Lagelu and District Society, that's Elder Patterson Ariemuduigho. The program continues on Wednesday with a public lecture themed Accounting, the Compass for Navigating Economic Turbulence. The program holds on Wednesday at 11 a.m. at UI Hotels. Kindly keep tabs on our social media pages for more details on that event. We look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much. At about now, we are going to take the national and the anthems in reverse order, like we normally do, as we call this session to a close. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Odabo.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land, though tribe and tongue. Unity and strength, we stand as one in Lagelu and the streets, our network in the streets. Icons guiding lights, we pave that way. With icons for values, we lead the way. We are Lagelu and the streets, standing tall as one. With unity and strength, our journey has begun. Integrity, accuracy, guiding us each day. With icons for values, we lead the way. We lift each other up and we drive along and the street. Every voice is heard. Together we stand, our bond is strong. With icons for values, we lead the way. We are Lagelu and the streets, standing tall as one. With unity and strength, our journey has begun. Integrity, accuracy, guiding us each day. With icons for values, we standing stronger in harmony.
Thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen. See you some other time.